Hi, this is Lady Lex UK, and this is the revised version of the dialogue text displayer gadget tutorial. There have been changes to this particular gadget, most of which you will have seen if you've looked at the text displayer gadget tutorial. All the text displayers now have some additions, so we have changes to the text box properties, an addition of texture, and border and shadow have been separated into separate tabs. I'm not going to go through all of this again. If you want to see what these things do, then please go to the text displayer gadget tutorial. It explains all these new features. The only other new feature on the dialogue text displayer is the choice of if you put in IMP text prompts. So you highlight this one here so that you can hover over your choices. We have an option now for highlight mode. So we have text only, box only, or both. And you can change the highlight brightness with this slider. So if I put both on, you'll notice in this mode, even if you turn it on here, does not show you the highlight. You have to see it in play mode. And there we can see the highlighted boxes like so. One thing to note, if you choose text only, you'll notice nothing is happening. That's because the text is black. Highlight and glow does not work with black text. So you will need to change the color of your text to something that will glow. Let's try it now. There we are. You can see that the text is actually changing color. So there we go. Those are the changes to the gadget. They're pretty minor in terms of the gadget functionality. It's really just the way that text is now being displayed that is the alteration. So what follows now is the original tutorial. Enjoy. Hi, this is Lady Lex UK, and this is a Dreams gadget tutorial. We're doing movers and outputs. And today we're doing the dialogue text displayer, which is this one. Now, previously we did the text displayer, and this gadget is actually identical to this display gadget. They have exactly the same menus, except the dialogue text displayer has two extra menu options. So I'm not going to go through all the display details that I did in the previous tutorial. So you'll need to look at that tutorial to see all of these options, alignment, how to use text box, the border, etc. Because they're all identical. What I'm going to cover in this tutorial is these two extra options here in the dialogue text box. So I'm going to delete the text displayer, and we're going to put some text in to our dialogue. So we're going to have a good little conversation. Hello there. How are you? There we go. There's some text. Now, our first page has prompts to skip and prompts to close. Now, if I choose one, nothing appears to happen. I'll choose a prompt to close as well. If I put in play mode, if I press the X button, it does close the text box, but the player won't necessarily know that that's what they've got to do. So it's a good idea to show the prompt in text. And as soon as I click on this little Boolean switch here, you get two little boxes appear, two more text boxes. You can move these around. They do not have independent styles. So the style of your main text box, so if I was to go into the main text box here and turn off that background, you can see it does that to the skip and close buttons as well. You haven't got independent styles, so you can't have different color boxes for, unfortunately, for these choices. They have to be the same as the whole thing, which is a bit of a pain, but there you go. So here are our two buttons. So what do they do? Well, now that we're displaying them, let's have a look. Now immediately you'll see, and I go into play mode, the skip button has disappeared. we've only got the close button. Hello there, how are you? And a close button. That's it. And if I press the cross, the text box closes. But what happened to the skip button? Why have I got no skip button? What does the skip button do? Well, the skip button is for skipping animation, and we have no animation on this text, so it doesn't appear. So let's put some animation in. So I've added some animation speed to the text, so it's going to type like a typewriter. And now have a look. So I've rewound and press play. So now we've got a skip button, but as soon as the text has finished animating, it goes away and we get the close button. And if you notice, we didn't have a close button until the text had finished animating. So you will never get both the skip and the close at the same time. It's one or the other. And the skip skips the animation, the close closes the text box. That's the difference between the two, and that's how they are used. Now, let's see what happens when I've got some multiple text. So we're going to have a conversation. So we've got text display. Let's copy a couple of times, and we'll change the text to this one. Hello there, how are you? I am fine, thank you. There we go. And then these very polite people. Glad to hear it. Right, there we go. So we've got a conversation. And you'll notice the text box, because I copied the top one, they're all in the same position. And they've all got skip and close buttons, exactly the same as I had previously, because I cut and pasted the text player, so they're all the same. So if I was to press play now, they're all going to display exactly the same time. There's multiple skips and close buttons. That's no good, we don't want that. So the first one's going to display without any prompts. It doesn't need anything to start it off. It will start straight away regardless. Now you'll notice that on the outside of all of these are an input and an output socket. So the input is the start text and the output is the text finished. So if I link the text finished to the start of this next one and the text finished to the start of that one, we've now chained these together. So now let's see what happens. Hello there, how are you? Close. Close it. I am fine, thank you. Close. Glad to hear it. Close. So there's our conversation. If we rewind it, you'll notice the skip buttons will work to get to the end. Close, skip. I am fine, thank you. Close, skip. There we go. So there are our chain of conversation. And that's okay if you just want the player to see some text and there's no input from the player required. So that's how you would do that. So let's delete those. I'm going to change the buttons on the prompts to skip to these D-pad ones. You can change these at any time you want. So I'm going to say that is skip and that is close. I'm going to put the skip and close on the same position because they're not going to display at the same time, so I can do that. And there is our first thing. Now we're going to have some options. So I'm going to say we've got options A, B and C, and you would put in your text in here. So so we're going to turn on that one, and that one. And we're going to say A. How are you? Okay. And we're going to say that's B. Not good. And we're going to say C. Go away. Okay, and you can put these in the right position so they're all lined up nicely. Okay. Now this time, instead of using the output sockets here, now you'll notice now that I've chosen these three, and you must highlight these, you must turn these on. Without these on, these don't display and they don't work. So these must be selected. So we've got A, B and C, circle, square and circle, cross and square. So there we go. Now you can see the outputs on this box have now got the text finished and circle, cross and square. So let's put in A without going mad about what this will do. You chose B. You chose C. Right. So now I'm going to circle to that one, cross to that one, square to that one. Now let's have a look. Hello there, how are you? A, okay. B, not good. C, go away. So we'll pick not good. Cross button. You chose B. And then you have the options again because we copied and pasted. So I'll choose B. And because it's not connected to anything, it'll just close the box. So you can have another one down here, and that circle option will open up this one. And this is how you do a text adventure. So a choose your own text adventure, this is how you would do it. You have different choices. You have your ABC choice, and then that text does something. And you can link that not just to a text display, you can link that to a special effect or a piece of music or a picture or the emitter or whatever you need it to do. Once they've made that choice, it will do whatever you want. You can wire that to whatever. But in the text display, obviously, you're going to display some more text and more options. So that is how that works. Now, you have to be very careful because if you have a text finished linked to something, it doesn't matter what button they press, it's going to put up that other text box. So be very careful of that because you don't want it having multiple things coming up. So it's better to pick one or the other. So either it's straight, just press the close button and it goes to the next box, or you have an option, ABC type of choice. Now, if we go back to our text displayer, there is a Boolean switch here for imp text prompt. So let's do that and see what that does. Right, that's removed our buttons, and you can see they've turned into little power symbols. And what is that doing? So now, hello there, how are you? Skip, A, B and C. Now you've got our imp. They are now hover buttons. So you can choose A, B or C. Let's choose A. You chose A. There we are. So, and you can see now we've got back to the buttons because the other text boxes didn't have that option for the imp. So there you go. So you can have buttons, or you can have hover and select with the X press for the imp. And there's your options. Now you notice when I choose the imp text, we get another box. That is because you have double the amount of inputs available to you than if you just used the controller buttons, because these are the only controller buttons that it will allow. So you don't have the option to use the R2, R1, R3, that type of thing. You only have these buttons, and if you choose the imp, you've got lots more options, double the amount, but that is the limit. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 8, 16 options for the imp to be able to hover over. So there we go, there's the dialogue text display, and that's how you use it. Hope that was useful to you. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in your dreams.